I also, learned, personally some things that, I've always not been one to talk too much about that, but just...
My life is about something different. And it became about what I wanted to say.
The Diddy case just took a jaw-dropping turn, and now all eyes are on Jennifer Lopez. Word on the street is JLo just dropped a bombshell in court, claiming that Diddy ordered a hit on none other than Ben Affleck, her ex. Yes, you heard that right. The pop icon who once dated both men allegedly made this statement that sent shockwaves through the courtroom and the entire industry. No one saw this coming. What started as whispers about Diddy's shady dealings has now spiraled into something far more sinister, a possible murder plot buried beneath one of Hollywood's most infamous love triangles. Now everyone's asking the same thing. Why would Diddy want Ben gone? What exactly did JLo know? And how far down does this twisted story go? Well, it all started with the federal investigations into Diddy, but things really took a turn when, allegedly, federal agents reportedly reached out to Ben Affleck, and this wasn't just some routine check-in. They allegedly contacted him with a warning. The story goes that they had uncovered disturbing material, evidence that linked his now ex-wife, JLo, to Diddy. Now, that alone would have been shocking. But the fact that the authorities reportedly felt it was serious enough to warn Ben directly, that says a lot. From there, people started digging into Diddy's past, and what they found wasn't exactly new. But it hit different this time. Allegedly, neighbors who used to live near his infamous mansion began recalling strange things they'd seen years ago, buses pulling up to the property in the middle of the night. Not just once, but often, and it wasn't just party guests stepping off those buses, it was underage boys and girls. These weren't isolated memories either. These stories had floated around for a while, mostly brushed off or buried under headlines about Diddy's music and celebrity lifestyle. The timing of those late-night arrivals, they often allegedly lined up with the freak-offs people used to shrug it off as part of the scene. But looking back, maybe it wasn't just VIP chaos. Maybe it was something a lot more disturbing, hiding in plain sight. Now, word is, once Ben Affleck was pulled in, things began to unravel fast. According to industry whispers, he was shown something that changed everything. Allegedly, tapes. Not rumors, not screenshots, but actual footage. These tapes weren't meant to see the light of day. They were reportedly taken during some of Diddy's past parties, the ones people used to talk about in hushed tones, but never openly questioned. The kind of parties that were invite-only, packed with celebrities, and had a reputation for going way past what most would consider normal. And here's the part that hit hard. JLo was allegedly seen on one of those explicit videos, not just walking through or being in the background, but involved. According to those who claim to have knowledge, it wasn't a good look. But for the prosecution, these tapes are the heart of their case.
These videos, explicit though they are at the heart of the prosecutor's case.
That moment, insiders say, became a breaking point for Ben. Seeing his wife, the woman he thought he knew, possibly involved in something so disturbing, it reportedly shattered him. And it wasn't just about the tape itself. It was what it represented. A life, a world, a past she had never fully shared with him. The whispers say it led to serious tension in their marriage, arguments, distance, and finally divorce. And the one name that kept coming up at the center of it all, Diddy, and then to make things even more intense, Suge Knight, yes, even from behind bars, decided to speak. He didn't name directly, but he dropped enough hints, enough for people to start putting the pieces together. According to him, the FBI didn't just hand over tapes. They gave them to Ben personally.
Sure, they probably called the FBI gave respect, a courtesy call of Ben Affleck. It's a white man who got respect in the white world. I'm quite sure they said, we want to show you some things. It's about your wife. When he see this shit that her and Puffy was doing and who they were doing it with, I'm quite sure they gave his ass those tapes.
Whatever was on those tapes, it wasn't something you could just brush off. So now, what started as a federal case against Diddy was turning into a personal nightmare for both of them. And maybe, just maybe, that was the moment JLo decided to flip the script. Whether out of guilt or fear that Affleck could be killed. Now let's rewind a little back to where it all may have started. Diddy and JLo. They were once Hollywood's it couple. But behind those dazzling photos was a relationship bursting at the seams. Glamour on the outside, chaos on the inside. There were cheating scandals, nightclub shootings, and tabloid drama that never seemed to end. Theirs wasn't just a love story, it was a storm.
God, I mean, we went through some very traumatic events together, you know?
Furthermore, she once described that chapter of her life in haunting terms. I was in this relationship with Puff, where I was totally crying, crazy, and going nuts. It really took my whole life in a tailspin. It wasn't just about heartbreak, it was trauma. But here's the thing. Could we all have missed something deeper? Maybe people have spent so long demonizing JLo that no one stopped to ask. Was she another one of Diddy's victims? Is that why, after years of silence, she's finally talking now? Is that why she didn't plead the fifth in court, but instead dropped a nuclear bomb that Diddy had put a hit on Ben Affleck? Because maybe for her, this wasn't just about clearing her name. It was revenge, survival, or finally escaping the shadow of a man who had controlled her life for decades. But of course, not everyone's buying it. Some believe JLo isn't as innocent as she wants people to think. Yes, she may have been under Diddy's influence, but others argue that all predators were once victims too. And that doesn't erase what's on those alleged tapes. Worse still, some people believe she only spoke up because things got personal. The moment their marriage began to crack, she flipped. Not for justice, but to save herself, and maybe get even. And let's not ignore the whispers that she's always had a thing for younger men, that she crossed lines a long time ago and stayed silent until it was convenient not to, because she was with Diddy. Not just publicly, but deeply embedded in his world, his parties, his inner circle, his house. And if we're being honest, do we really believe she didn't know what was going on? All those after-hours parties, the whispers of crimes, the sketchy associates, the rumors that never stopped, and Jennifer was right there through it all. Always smiling, always silent. She never spoke up. Never even hinted at the darkness that's now being dragged into the light. And maybe that silence is exactly why Diddy once described her as the best girlfriend he ever had. Now, coming from anyone else, maybe that would sound like a compliment. But from Diddy, a man currently entangled in one of the darkest scandals the industry has seen in years, that praise hits different. As one ex-user chillingly put it, if the devil says she was the best, what does that tell you about JLo? It's a question that's haunting both the courtroom and the public. Was JLo a pawn, a victim, or a willing player in the game? And now that Affleck is caught in the crossfire, now that her marriage collapsed, her secrets surfacing, maybe she's trying to rewrite her role in this twisted story. Maybe exposing Diddy's alleged plot wasn't just a cry for justice. Maybe it was a calculated move, which brings us right back to the courtroom and the moment everything cracked wide open. By now, the alleged testimony from JLo has already pulled Diddy's name deeper into a scandal that was already spiraling out of control. But what followed her statement wasn't just shock, it was momentum, the kind prosecutors had been waiting for. Because this case, it's no longer just about what Diddy did to one or two victims behind closed doors. It's about proving something much bigger, that Diddy ran an Epstein-like operation involving human trafficking and blackmail with hidden cameras that captured high-profile names in entertainment, politics, and sports in homo acts and other compromising positions. And thanks to the way this case is structured, the courtroom is seeing more than just the surface. They're seeing old crimes resurface, crimes long buried, never charged, or quietly settled, the kind of behavior people whispered about for years but never dared confront out loud. Suddenly, that 1999 shooting in a New York club, the one where someone got shot in the face after a scuffle involving Diddy's entourage, is back in play. The parties, it's all on the table now. And let's not act like JLo was some outsider to all this. She was deep in Diddy's world. Word is, she was his gun mule. From 1999 to 2001, they were a full-on power couple. But while the cameras caught the glam, the courts caught the crimes. During that time, Diddy faced civil lawsuits like the City College concert tragedy, where 9 people died in a stampede. Women were coming forward with claims going back to the 90s. He allegedly held a woman captive for 4 hours, repeatedly her. He reportedly aped a 16-year-old named Justin Gooch at a Manhattan club. He was arrested for beating a record exec with a phone, bottle, and chair. He and others were accused of a 13-year-old girl. She escaped naked, searching for help. And through all that, JLo was right there. Then things went from shocking to downright sinister. Whispers say JLo didn't just give names, she dropped bombs. If Diddy really ordered a hit on Ben Affleck, someone with A-list status and major media presence, that's not a scandal, that's warfare. And with her testimony, whether you believe she's telling the truth out of courage or convenience, has supposedly become the key that unlocked it all. She didn't just name names, she connected dots. Her revelation about Ben Affleck wasn't just a betrayal, it was a pivot point. And just like that, our insiders say that the courtroom wasn't focused on tapes or secret parties anymore. They were staring at something far darker, the kind of organized silence that only cracks when someone like JLo decides she's done playing the game. And here's the thing, whether JLo is a pawn, a victim, or a player, her testimony will likely push prosecutors to act. It will force the courtroom to see Diddy as a man who might have weaponized fame to cover up decades of crimes. And JLo, she may have just burned the whole thing down, not to be a hero, but because she's done being part of the game. And now that the fire's started, everyone's about to get scorched. So what do you think? Is JLo finally exposing the truth or just trying to save herself? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this story is far from over. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. We've got more wild twists coming your way soon.